So, this is the practical where we're going to investigate pinhole cameras. Now, just to introduce our pinhole camera that we'll be using, it's a bit of a pinhole camera kit. What you've got is two halves to it. They're both hollow sort of rectangle cylinder tubes. And what you've got is, on this end, you've got some kind of thin tracing tissue type paper, very thin, with a hollow tube, and that sits inside another tube, but you can't see through that one because there's a piece of black card taped to the end of it. And all I'm going to do, try and show this properly, is take the two ends, slot them together, so the camera is literally, move that out of the way for now, a piece of black card with a piece of tracing paper at that end. Now, all I need to do to make it a pinhole camera is take a, where is it? Drawing pin. And let's see if I can focus on this. And slightly better. And make a pinhole in the card. No, it won't focus. No matter. In the card at the front. So you've got a pinhole at that end. Then at that end, you've got the tracing paper. You won't see anything yet. Now, I'll just attach this into the stand. What should happen now is if we turn on our light sources, we will hopefully see images of them appear on our screen. And there's the image. Okay, so you can see the top torch much better. It's a little bit hard to see with this camera. Let me try and turn that torch off. No better. Okay, just have to work with it.
Where did you put the oil?
So what you've got is one light at the top and two lights underneath, so in a sort of triangle shape. And what you can see on the screen here, if I zoom in a bit closer, is you can see the two lights at the top, and then you can just see one light underneath. And in fact, I'm just going to make the pinhole a tiny bit bigger, and you'll see that more clearly. I had a little bit of an effect. Okay, so the double torch underneath is this one, and you can see very faintly, but the third torch underneath there. So if I move our camera back, just press focus, you can see that. Now, the first thing about a pinhole camera is the image is inverted. So if I take a piece of black card here and I bring it in from the top, watch the image on the screen. See, the screen disappears from the bottom. Okay, if I bring it in from the bottom, disappears from the top. See, and if I bring it in from the left, the right even, the image will disappear from the left. Okay. Now, in terms of distance, if I bring the camera closer to the light source, which is what I'm going to do here, if you watch the image, it's getting bigger because the angle of the rays going sort of through the pinhole compared to the screen, the angle is now steeper, which means they spread out more for a given length. Okay. So you've got a very steep angle, so it's effectively zooming in. You can see there, I've got a very large image on the screen here. Whereas if I move it away again, what you'll see is the image zoom out again. And you've now got a relatively small image on that screen. Okay. Now, the other thing I can do is I can change the length of the camera. So if I fix the distance of the camera there. So I'm not going to change the distance between the front of the camera and the torches. I'm going to make the camera longer by pulling this out. And you'll see on the screen there, it's had the effect of zooming the image in. So the image on the screen has got bigger with the camera pulled out. And if I push this back in, you can see the image has got smaller. So it's had the effect, now that's a bit better. I'll just cover up that reflection. There we go. So you can see it's had the effect of zooming it out again. Sorry, making the image smaller, so zooming it out. So extend it again, makes it bigger. Pushing it in, camera shorter, makes it smaller. And that is because when the camera is longer, the light rays have more time to more distance to spread out, whereas when the camera is shorter, they can't spread out as much. And again, you'll see that in the diagrams when we go through those. So, the next bit is if I make the pinhole bigger. Now I'm just going to move the camera to get a bit more lined up there. There we go. And focus on that. So this is a relatively small pinhole. I know I enlarged it a little bit, but you can see quite good detail down here, particularly if I cover up that side. So you can see very good detail down here, and you've got the top sort of torch there. Now, I'll ask my assistant. Hold that there. So if I make the pinhole bigger, watch the image and compare it. You might need to go back in the video a little bit, but if I make the pinhole bigger, what you'll see is the image will get brighter, but it will get blurrier. So I'm just using a pen to make the pinhole bigger. So it's got brighter, a little bit blurrier. If I make it even bigger. Cool. Much bigger, there you go. So much brighter, but also visibly much blurrier there. So you can't see as many details, but the image is brighter. Now, the last thing I can do is add a second pinhole to it. So if I use my pin that I had earlier, and I make a second pinhole in the front of the camera. So there are two holes in the camera, and what you can see now is that there are two images. So you can see the original image, that's that blurry one on the left, so blurry and bright because it's a bigger pinhole, but you can also see the second image overlaid, which is the sort of double torch on the bottom and the single torch on the top. And in fact, that's quite a good comparison because the larger pinhole is brighter but blurrier, and the second pinhole, which is still small, it's just the small pin, is less bright, but you can see all the details in it. And that is what you need to know about pinhole cameras.